In this video, I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions on how to replace the back cover on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. To begin with, you're going to power down the device. And then, because I'm going to be using this on the hot plate, I'm going to add a little bit of Gorilla Tape onto the front of the screen. And that's just going to protect the screen from some scratches whilst we work on it. We'll take that off at the end. If you want to trim it down, you can do, but whatever. The next step on this one is to remove the two pentalobe screws either side of the USB-C charging port. Get those out of the way. And the good news about the iPhone 16 Pro Max is that the back cover comes off from the back. It comes off as one piece, but there is a little bit of work to do alongside it. So stick around and I will show you exactly how to do it. Starting off, I have got it face down on the hot plate. I'm going to leave it on here for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I've got this set to 85 degrees centigrade. And what that's doing is softening the adhesive that runs around all 4 of these edges. Once that adhesive is softened, it should be quite easy to remove. So we'll come back and get that off once it's nice and hot. So now that this is really nice and warm, I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol in one of these little drippy bottles. And we're just going to run a bead of alcohol around this edge down here, and that's going to soak into the adhesive as well. Then I'm going to take one of these little Dorco razor blades and I'm going to insert it into the very small gap between the edge of the frame and the bottom of the glass, and then I'm going to sort of pry it back like that. And what you'll notice is, look, we've got a bigger gap forming just there. So now that we've made a small gap with the Dorco blade, we're going to use that space to insert a plastic guitar pick. That means we're not going to scratch anything, and we're just going to work our way around. And sometimes it can be awkward if it's already cracked, so I'm sort of twisting, pushing, just trying to lift it off the best that I can, especially where this awkward area of cracks is. Just be careful that those shards don't end up everywhere. You can, if you want, put some tape on this to stop cracks going everywhere. Sorry, shards of glass going everywhere. But I find that it doesn't help all that much, to be honest. It's just, when they're cracked like this, they're just awkward. If you're removing these to work on them, they're actually quite easy to get this back cover off. But when it's cracked like this, it can be a bit of a pain. So I'm sort of pulling up on it wherever I can, and then just on this corner it can be awkward around the camera. Be careful when you're putting this pick in, not to insert it too far, because look, you can see if I put it in that far, that's going to touch that camera inside, and we don't want to do that. You're avoiding touching any of the components inside the phone. And then I just got one little awkward bit just here, and I'm just using the Dorco blade to help me get a lift on that bit. So there's some clips in the top what make it pretty awkward too, and that's what that sort of cracking sound is you can hear. Now with that, I'm going to try and just open it up. And you open these up like opening a book from the back cover. Now that we've got that open like this, I want to protect this camera. So you can actually buy these little protective cover things, and you just slip it over the camera there. And that's going to give it a good level of protection whilst we're working on it, and it stops any dust and stuff getting on that camera lens. Now I'm just going to close it up temporarily because we'll take it over to the desk now. So now that we've got this open, we've got the camera protected, I'm going to put a weighted object behind the glass there to stop it falling over, and then we'll get it up close here where we have got 3 tri-wing screws, and this is holding down the shield for the battery. So first I'm going to just disconnect the battery. I would recommend doing it whenever you can, and it just makes it safe to work on. Once you've lifted those screws, you can lift up this shield, pop that with the screws, keep them all organized, and then we can use a plastic spudger just to disconnect the battery, isolating power from the device. Now we've got 4 more tri-wing screws to remove. The same again, just get those out. I store all these on a little magnetic mat, and it just helps keep things organized, so I know exactly where the screw goes when it comes to putting it back together. Same again, we're going to use some tweezers to lift up the shield. I think there's a little hooky sort of hinge on that bit, so just be careful when you're wiggling that off. Take it off, put it with your screws, and then I'm just going to use the spudger to disconnect this guy here. So once that's out of the way, we can lift the whole phone with the back cover, and I'm just going to sort of, like I'm snapping it off there, just like that, and that's just going to bust the adhesive what was left behind on that side because I didn't take any off there. So now I'm going to remove any glass what's left behind. Now we're going to start cleaning up this back cover, ready for the new one. The best way that I've found that we can remove the glue is one of these number 4A X-Acto blades, and I've got it on a little Kian Lee holder thing, scalpel holder type tool, and all we're going to do is run this along that edge, clearing up any of the glue that's left behind. There was a discussion the other day in one of the Facebook groups, and they were talking about how they remove the glue. People use one of those spinny tools, and I just can't get on with that. I just don't think that it pulls it off, so I'm going to stick to what I know best. But just when you are using, if you are using a X-Acto blade, which is of course sharp, just be very careful around flex cables and anywhere, because there is always a risk that you might damage something. So I'm not saying that you need to keep every part in stock that you could damage, but just be prepared that if that does happen, you'll have to replace something. So just keep that in mind. And then other people are using like a flat-headed screwdriver. See, I think this is I'd say because this is sharper, it's more effective. Whereas if you're using a flathead screwdriver, what's of course blunt, then I'd say that there's more risk of doing damage because it's blunt. Whereas a sharp tool is usually a lot more precise. And then there's always the argument that I might just be talking for the sake of talking because I've got nothing else to talk about whilst I do this part. I will let you guys decide in the comments. But what we're aiming for is a very clean edge to stick the new back cover onto. It's very important. If you don't do that, then in time, dust will get through even a genuine seal. If you put a genuine seal on, but it's not clean, dust's going to get through. It's not going to be effective. So you need to just take a minute to make sure that this is correct and it's right. So I know I talk about it a lot, and you might be thinking, Jesus Christ, just get on with the repair already. But this is a important step in the repair. So when I put the tape down, you can see the little scratches on the screen. That's because when I'm doing this, there is a bit of glass what's got underneath there, and this is exactly why I say use tape, because that glass is very hard and it will scratch a screen, and that's why I say to do it. I think even when you get like a genuine Apple tool kit, it comes with a little plastic cover to put on the screen to protect it, like a temporary screen protector. So just be very aware that most things I do in this video, I do them for a reason, and it's because I've probably broke something or done something wrong in the past. And that's exactly how we learn. If you didn't protect the camera as well, just really be careful when you're cleaning up around that area. It's easy just to touch those lenses, and then once they've been touched, it's not very good. And you can tell, like, if you look hard through the camera lenses, then you'll be able to tell straight away when something's got some mucky, greasy, grubby mitts all over it. With that, all the thick of the adhesive is scraped off. I'm just going to run a final bead of alcohol down, and then I've wrapped my blade in one of these little cloths, look, And then I'm just going to run that along the edge. And that just cleans up all the dirt and dust that's left behind. It does a really nice job of doing it as well. You can also just grab a piece and then rub your thumb into the edge as well. That's like my thumbnail that I'm rubbing down there. And then same along these edges, and it's just one last sort of cleanup to make sure that it's all good and ready for that new piece of glass that we're going to put on there. So that's looking good. You can, if you want to, get a little bit of dusting cloth and just dust everything off. Dust gets about, so just beware. Blow any away. Keep your desk clean while you're working on it too. This part that I'm using for this repair is a pulled genuine part. Now with these, if you don't use a pulled part, you might be using a fakey one, and it may not have these little flash, microphone and wireless charging coil on it. They are a pain in the ass to transfer from this one onto the new one. I would strongly just recommend buying a pulled part. The reason that they are better as well, the glass is just always way better than the cheap stuff that you get from China. And not only that, they're just, I don't know, you compare this properly, they work properly, and it's not worth it. You might look at one on eBay and it's £10 or £5 or however much it is. It'll come and it's just a fragile piece of glass. Let me show you while I'm thinking about it. This is a phone that's in for a back glass, right? We're going to put a housing on it. This is a non-genuine piece of glass what's been put on this in the past, look. And look at how easy it just comes away. That's not good, it just breaks, it's brittle, it's crap. The glass is just shocking. It shouldn't break like that. Now, even this one, right, this is going to be a good example. Look, that's a clear piece of glass there, look. Look, I'm bending that. That's because it's very hard wearing and it's good glass. Whereas the non-genuine stuff, watch, it's really easy to break. It's just brittle, it's crap. Buy genuine stuff and it will last longer, trust me. Rant over, let's get this part installed. If you do buy these genuine ones, right, just be careful because it may come and it needs a little clean. So just have a look along the edges, make sure that it's nice and clean. Like there's a bit of old glue there. This is how we know that it's a pull anyway. And you're just gonna make sure that it's nice and clean. And then same in these camera lenses, because it's very easy to get dust and stuff in them. Make sure that they're clean, have a look at them, make sure there's no smeary sort of marks on them. So installation is very easy, but it's very important that we put a dust and moisture resistant seal on it. That's why we cleaned everything up. To line this up perfectly, I would strongly recommend starting in the very bottom left hand corner and make sure that it's nice and tight to that bottom edge. If it's tight to the bottom edge and the bottom corner, then what it's going to do, it will follow all the way around. And then we'll follow it up on this side now. Just make sure that it sits in flat, flush. And then you see, when we've got to the top, it sits in, it's flat, it's nice. And then the way that these are designed is that it goes over the camera area there. You might have to just do some little bits of adjusting to make sure that it sits beautifully. And then you can peel off the pink layer. Sometimes the other blue layer comes with it. Don't worry about that. See, it's left behind there and then it come away there. Don't sweat it. If you've got a bit there where it's just a bit folded, then we can just sort of manually push that down and make sure that it's not overlapping. It sits nice and flat and everything. That's probably done as a favour, that bit coming off there. I'm going to take this bit off as well. You can peel that off. And then once you've got this adhesive on, don't be touching it. If you touch adhesives, it moves your fingerprints, finger grease onto it, and then it'll inhibit how well it sticks. So just beware. If you need to adjust it like I am, just use your tweezers and not pushing it with your fingers and just making a mess, because you'll have to just do it again. Now we're just going to offer up this connector And once it's lined up, you apply a bit of pressure. You'll know when it's lined up because it'll not move around freely anymore. It just locks in like that and then push down. That's the one. I always struggle to give an example of that, but that was probably the best example that I've ever recorded. Now with this shield, the little hooky bit's just there, look. So just make sure that it sits under there and then hooks in to that bit. 4 little tri-wing screws to hold it down. And this job is really starting to come together now, because all that we've got left to do is to reconnect the battery, drop this shield onto it now, and then again we've got 3 tri-wing screws this time. Resecure. Now I'm going to take off my little cap thing. I'm going to redesign these as well because they're a bit too close for comfort for me. I'd much rather it have like a little thing where I could pull on it. Blow out any dust from around the camera area or the phone area, and then lay this down nice and flat. With that, we're just going to close it up. Apply a little bit of pressure around the edges, make sure that it all sits nice and flat and flush, clips into place, and because it's a pull, it's an A, it's a good one, it's going to sit absolutely perfect on this phone. The tape what I put on earlier is going the way, look, what a disaster. Right, we'll get that out of the way. And then we can now put our 2 screws back in. Sometimes if it's not lined up properly, because there's a couple of little lugs for these screws on the back. If it's not lined up properly, you'll find that it's really difficult to tighten these screws up. If it is, just give it a little squeeze and you should find that they go in a bit easier. But this one seems to have gone down really nice. Now what you want to do before you sort of hand it off as being done is just a very good visual check around all the edges, make sure that it's sat down nice and flat. There's no adhesive sticking out where it shouldn't be, and that there's no dust under the camera lenses. Give them a real good clean up. I'm going to say job is a good one. All that we need to do now is one final little trick. Bash it into diagnostic mode, which you do by pressing and holding the up volume, down volume, and then connect to power until you get the Apple logo. And then we're going to remove that. Whilst I'm waiting for that to go into diagnostic mode, we can remove this bit of tape that I put on there. And you can see that it's done a great job of not scratching this front of this iPhone up. And then with it in diagnostic mode, connect to Wi-Fi, and then it should present us with an option to calibrate this back cover if the software's on a version that's new enough. There you go, back glass. This is a genuine Apple part. Continue, let it configure. If it's not a genuine part, it'll just not configure and it'll come up in settings saying this is not a genuine Apple back glass, and then but that's it, it's done. It's sealed down, it's recalibrated, the phone's turning back on. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.